From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. The Fairbanks Board of Education is exploring an initiative to merge elementary and middle school education for one or more local schools as part of the school board's strategic plan to provide students and families with more educational options.
Last year, the board sent out a survey to parents that showed community interest for a kindergarten through 8th grade structure, which includes changing the kindergarten classes from partial to full days. The district sent a second survey to parents this month to determine if they are still receptive to the idea. No decisions have been made yet, but in a letter sent out by the school district, K through 8 options will be explored throughout the spring this year. The decision to change any educational model would take at least 1 year to implement. School Board President Heidi Haas was unable to speak about the district's interest in a K through 8 structure, and board member Sue Hull was unable to comment on the topic specifically. However, Hull did say that some major changes in the school board's strategic plan, which is the K through 8 program is a part of, could be a challenge due to the state fiscal crisis.
It's going to be a challenge for Fairbanks and every school district to meet needs because our costs are rising, and with funding being threatened, how will we do new things and make change that we know it benefits kids when we can hardly afford to do the things that we're doing already. So, that's one of the challenges of a strategic plan, is saying, okay, here are the things we need to improve on. How do we do that within the confines of the fiscal picture that we're in? And that's a challenge for Fairbanks as well as for the rest of the state.
Senator Bill Wielechowski of Anchorage has asked State Attorney General Craig Richards to fully investigate the recent proposed sale of the Flint Hills gas storage facilities to Tesoro for any and all antitrust implications. Wielechowski contends that if the sale goes through, Tesoro would control virtually all gasoline production and storage facilities in Alaska, and as such would have nearly total control of gas prices across the state. In a letter sent Wednesday to the Attorney General, Wielechowski noted that the already delicately balanced retail gas market in Alaska will be dominated by one company should this sale be approved. The sale includes a 580,000-barrel storage facility in Anchorage, as well as jet fuel storage facilities at Fairbanks International Airport. Wielechowski is not concerned with jet fuel, but is frightened that the potential monopoly on gasoline storage would be detrimental to Alaskans already paying some of the highest gas prices in the nation.
With the closure of Flint Hills in North Pole, Tesoro has a near monopoly on gasoline refining in the state of Alaska. It's high gas prices. Certainly in Fairbanks, you're seeing it worse than we are here in Anchorage. But when you have one refinery that's producing virtually all the gasoline in the state and then takes control of the storage capacity in the state so that you can't import cheaper gasoline from outside, there's a tremendous danger to the consumers of Alaska that the prices will be sky high.
Members of the State Fisheries Board are gathering information on newly proposed regulations at a regional meeting in Fairbanks. Mike Fussell was there and has more on how board deliberations may affect interior anglers.
Catch and release fishing could be a thing of the past in certain parts of the Chena River if the Fairbanks Fish and Game Advisory Committee has its way. The group spoke on its proposal at the State Fisheries Regional meeting earlier today. Chairman of the Advisory Committee, Virgil Umpenauer, says the organization is urging the board to allow those fishing to keep small Arctic grayling caught between the Nordale Road Bridge and Tanana River.
The main reason is so that children can keep a fish. And a lot of times when you catch fish, if it gets gilled, which means that the hook gets in the gills, it's going to die anyway. But this is for small fish under 12 inches, and we don't think that would be biologically significant.
New regulations would be in effect for 3 years. Proposal documents state little information is currently known on how a harvest would affect fish populations because it's been so long since one was allowed. Umpenauer says size restrictions keeping fish more than 12 inches in the water will help protect older grayling.
But a 12-inch grayling, I'm not sure how old they are, but the larger ones, like an 18-inch grayling, that's maybe a 20-year-old fish. Grayling are long-lived fish. But I think a 12-inch, you'll have to ask one of the biologists, but I don't think they're more than 4 or 5 years old.
Umpenauer says he's not sure the proposal will be passed Saturday as the Department of Fish and Game is opposing it. Other interior fishermen echoed their concern over a number of issues. A suggested closure of a Yukon River summer chum salmon commercial fishery to protect king salmon provoked a number of attendees to speak out.
and opening up other methods of fishing and everything to do anything for commercial fishing, and here we are restricted subsistence-wise.
It's just frustrating to see the fishery being proposed to be closed because, I want my daughter to be able to work. We don't have a lot of opportunities for our youth to work in the villages.
State Fisheries Board members say that rule would be important to their conservation efforts in the region. Reporting, I'm Mike Fussell.
When we come back, a local restaurant is listed as the hottest new spot in Alaska. We'll tell you which one.
Also, UAF opened its doors for the first day of its spring semester. Those stories and more when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Fbx Evening News. A North Pole woman is being held at the Fbx Correctional Center following her arrest for allegedly stealing upwards of $22,000 in jewelry from a North Pole home. 32-year-old Jaylene Davis is charged with 3 counts of felony second-degree theft. Now, the jewelry was reported stolen from a home near Astor Drive January 5th. Now, on January 9th, Alaska State Troopers with the Special Projects Unit recovered the stolen jewelry from a local pawn shop. At that time, they identified a suspect, later revealed as Davis.
One local Fbx restaurant was listed as the top-rated new hotspot in Alaska by a national media group. Jazz Bistro is a Latin and European cuisine restaurant located in downtown Fbx. The theme of the food changes on a monthly basis, with several dishes named after musical prodigies. Jazz Bistro was labeled as the top new hotspot restaurant by the Nightclub Bar and Media Group, which compiled data from Yelp reviews into a nationwide list of bars, lounges, and restaurants that opened in 2015. Jazz Bistro owner Lenora Byam says the award was quite the surprise.
Well, we were all shocked here at the bistro. We just found out on Monday that we were nominated as this hot spot for the state of Alaska. And so we're all honored to be nationally recognized, not only as the state, but also nationally wide. And so as far as what we know, there's going to be a huge conference in March in Las Vegas. And so they want representatives from each location to go and attend.
Students began the first day of classes today at University of Alaska Fairbanks. Students will be attending class until the last day of final examinations on May 6th. UAF was founded in 1917 as the Alaska Agricultural College and School of Mines, but it wasn't until 1922 that the college opened its doors to students. In the first year, a faculty of 6 offered 16 classes to a student body of only 6. Today, UAF enrolls around 10,000 students and employs around 2,900 staff members per semester. Our cameras spent some time on campus today asking students how it feels to be back in school.
It feels pretty good to be back. I'm excited for the classes that I'm going to take next, and it's good to continue on so I could graduate.
It's good to be back. It's nice to get out of Fairbanks for the coldest, darkest part of the year, but I'm starting into my upper level classes, so it's new and exciting.
But now that I'm back on campus, now I get to go to classes in the cold, but it's much more change of pace. So then I get to see all my friends and waste more time correctly.
The Fairbanks Funny Fest teaches people how to make others laugh. Monty Bowen has the detail in this week's edition of That's Interiortainment.
The Fairbanks Funny Fest is put on each year by Fairbanksons Glenn Anderson and Jerry Evans. They bring a guest instructor in to help train other would-be funny men.
It'll be guys that maybe have never done stand-up comedy before, or maybe have done it once or twice, or maybe even some return students from a prior Funny Fest. And yeah, usually they fly a guy up. I was actually flown up 2 years ago to do it. It was a great experience, man. It's fun watching people try it out for the first time. And now I moved here just to be closer to Funny Fest, so now it's easier to get there.
Students coming to the workshop have assignments.
They write about 5 minutes of material. And we just help them, to write punchlines and develop jokes and give them tips about, stage presence and things like that. And then they get to do a show on the weekend at the Blue Loon.
He said that he's always asked for advice about being a stand-up comic.
Every time I do a show, someone comes up and says, I've always wanted to do stand-up, like I think I'm funny. And I always tell those people, don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. I always tell those people, you have the perfect opportunity. Not every city has an opportunity to, there'll be open mics, but you got Jerry and Glenner, who've been around for a real long time doing comedy, and you have your guest instructor, whoever that may be. You've got the best opportunity in Fairbanks to, if you've ever wanted to do it, to come out and try it.
This is Monty Bowen reporting.
That's Interiortainment, brought to you by Midnight Sun Family Medicine.
Believe it or not, Sarah, I attended the very first Funny Fest all those years ago, and it's a blast. Those people are going to learn a lot, have fun, and the nerves are a lot the opening night.
So,
absolutely.
You know how to tell jokes?
No, I don't. See, that's why I was never invited back. I guess I'm just not funny.
Awesome. Joe Cook is up next with the sports, and then he visits with the Ice Dogs, who are back home this weekend after a long but successful road trip.
Also, he has highlights from the opener of the Joe T. Classic. Sports is after the break.
Welcome back into your Alaska. Joe Cook here with your local Thursday Sportscast. Fairbanks Ice Dogs finally returned to familiar surroundings as they will have their first home game in 55 days. The last time they were in the Big Dipper was November 21st. A lot has happened since they've been gone. Goalie Gavin Naedo was named Goalie of the Month and also committed to Brown University. The team went 9-1-1 on their 11-game road trip. That's pretty good. Mitchell Ballman scored his first 2 goals of the year, and today, defenseman Alex Maynard committed to Air Force Hockey. The Midwest Division leaders start a 7-game homestand on Friday night at 7:30 against the Springfield Junior Blues. The Blues are 19-11-4 and third in the Midwest Division. It will be the first meeting between the 2 teams. Head coach Trevor Stewart believes the Ice Dogs are entering the most important part of their season.
We got to take care of when we play back at the Dipper. I don't think our record's as good here as it is on the road, so we've got to figure out a ways to win here.
That was huge to get a couple of wins on the road there and just get back at home for a couple of weeks and put ourselves in a pretty good position. Yeah, it's nice to see a lot of the guys produce and everybody's doing well, so just kind of hold each other accountable and do your best.
The first half's in the past, you try not to think about it. You're proud of your accomplishments, but at the same time, there's guys in the division that are nipping at our heels, and we got to keep our foot on the pedal and expand our lead in the division here in the second half of the season.
And UAF hockey continues their road trip this weekend against the Northern Michigan Wildcats. The Nanooks are starting to right the ship as they have picked up 6 WCHA points in 3 straight series. They are tied for 8th place with UAA. The Wildcats are 6-4 in the conference, and they are tied for 5th. 2 teams split in their last meeting back in November. The Cats are led by Dominique Shine, who is 9th in the league in scoring, and freshman goalie Adi Tovenen, a freshman who played for Minot at the NHL last season. He's 3rd in save percentage and 5th in goals allowed average. But Alaska brings in Tyler Morley, who's leading the conference with 21 points and an improved special teams unit as the Nooks have scored power play goals in 3 of their last 6 games. Puck drops at 3:07 Alaska time on Friday. Also of note this week, Galena product Jenna Buchanan set a program record for the UAAC Wolves. The senior guard has set the program mark for made 3-pointers in her career with 193 and counting. The old record was 191. She set the mark against Concordia on Saturday, making 5 trays and a 76-49 win for the number 2 Sea Wolves. She also hit from beyond the arc in 23 straight games, which is also a UAA record. Buchanan was the 3A Player of the Year for Galena back in 2012. Alaska hosts UAA on Tuesday, January 26th. This afternoon, the Joe T. Classic Tournament opened with a premier matchup in girls basketball. The West Valley Wolfpack went up against the Ketchikan Kings. West Valley was holding off K-High with some clutch shots. Ruthie Hebert, she hit a shot at the first quarter buzzer. She had 26 points, a game high. West Valley was up 10-9. Amber Smid's buzzer beater at the half gave West Valley a 22-21 lead, but K-High's full-court trap was too much for the Pack. They cashed in on numerous West Valley turnovers. Alexis Bickerstaff and Eli Anderson had 11 points for the Kings. Courtney Kimball led them with 12 points. A.J. Dela Cruz hit timely buckets to hold off a West Valley comeback. K-High, they shocked West Valley with a 54-49 win.
Defense is what's going to bring us back in the game. I think that's one of the main keys. Our press isn't it's something we work on probably most of practice because we know we're talented enough and our shots are going to fall eventually. But if we don't play defense, we're not going to win. We didn't know what to anticipate, because they lost Carly Marquez, and it's kind of like our redemption for losing our first round of state 2 years ago.
And in Wednesday night basketball, the Allison Ravens and Hutchinson Hawks split in Aurora Conference play. The Hutchinson girls used their stifling defense in a 55-15 win over Allison. Taya Titus scored a game-high 18 points for Hutch. The Hawks are 2-1 in the Aurora and 4-3 overall. The Ravens dropped to 1-2 and 3-4 overall. The Allison boys, they won 68-49, led by Jeremiah Brown's game-high 22 points. Jaden White scored 18 points to lead the Hawks. Last but not least, there was a classic in high school hockey on Wednesday afternoon. The Lathrop Malamuts and Juneau Douglas Crimson Bears faced off at the Big Dipper, and both teams did not want to lose this one. 2 minutes into the second period, Juneau struck first with a Chase Barnum goal, but Lathrop, they answered with a nice slap shot coming from Corey Miskovich to tie things up at 1-1. However, Juneau would get one in from the corner and take a 2-1 lead at the end of the first period. And that was the theme for this game, as teams were going goal for goal, back and forth. As we fast forward to the third period, Hayden Masterson's second goal of the game was a shorty, and it gives Lathrop a 5-4 lead with 9:56 left. But Juneau, they would convert a power play 5 minutes later as Zach Hebert's score tied it at 5-all and forces overtime. Then at the 2:32 mark of the extra period, Cahill Morehouse fires the game winner in for Juneau. They win it 6-5 over Lathrop. Both teams play again this evening. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for watching. Your full weather forecast is coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Welcome back to the weather segment of our broadcast, and we've got the almanac up for you to read. Our recent high was 0, recent low was -5. Record high set in this date in 2009, 44 degrees. That compares to a record low of -66. Wow, 1934. Sun rose today at 10:31. It's set at 3:32, giving us 5 hours and 1 minute over yesterday. About 4 minutes. Winds were out of the east, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and take a look around the state, see what we can see. Barrow checked in today at -4 on the west coast, 16 for Nome, 19 for Bethel, Cold Bay at 37. Still a storm affecting the Anchorage Bowl area and portions of Kodiak, 36 degrees for them. Anchorage, 25 degrees. And on the Panhandle, well, a little respite from the rain from earlier this week, 38 for Juneau, 41 for Ketchikan. Moving on down to the lower 48, we'll take a look. Of course, a storm in winter, you can see in the Pacific Northwest, that storm set right there, all week long has been drifting off toward the coastal, to the plain states and upper northern states and affecting them there. It's meeting with the jet stream right there, causing flurries, snow-like conditions everywhere else. Another system off the coast of Florida, but other than that, looking really lovely down in San Francisco, 56 degrees, Vegas 56, Phoenix 64, and Dallas checking in today. Nice day for them, is 68 degrees. Let's go ahead and take a look. That's exactly what I talked about right there. That jet stream a little lower than normal, bringing colder temperatures from the north, and that also mixes with the jet stream, causing those snow-like conditions for some of the states right there, including Chicago, northern Chicago, or Illinois. Why am I saying Chicago? Illinois, that's the state, that's right. Otherwise, below the jet stream, you just get rain showers and occasional thunderstorms. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Kids Weather Watch for today and see what we can see. It's a weather fact. In 1863, Southern California's greatest snow occurred on this date. 15 inches blanketed San Bernardino. Wow, that is pretty good for them. They're pretty far south. Thank you to Mount McKinley Bank for 50 years of service to the community. And of course, Mike will return next Monday and welcome the third grade class from Tickassook Brown Elementary School. Let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's forecast. Mostly cloudy with snow showers in Nome, Fort Yukon. Cloudy with scattered snow in Barrow. Temperatures a little colder than today. In the interior, well, a little bit. Well, we're going to take a little freeze for a while. Decreasing clouds, then that's going to bring in the cold. Scattered snow showers in Delta and partly cloudy in Healy. No flurries for Fairbanks. In the Panhandle, well, the wetness returns. Juneau 33 degrees, Ketchikan 36 for both of those communities. And then on the southwest, Bethel 8 degrees tomorrow. Cold Bay 34 system there. Kodiak, rain mixed with snow possible in the Kodiak area, just to be aware. Okay, and finally in the Anchorage Bowl area, not too terrible for them after getting snow earlier this week. Anchorage 18, Homer 24, and Valdez 21 degrees. All right, let's take a look at our overnight forecast. It's going to be colder, guys. Decreasing clouds, 13 below for an overnight low. Then it doesn't get really too much better for tomorrow, 3 degrees above and partly cloudy. Possibility of flurries, but with the decreasing clouds, probably not. But then the warming trend hooks back up for the weekend. 10s. No, that's not because we're lazy, but that's the projection every day. 10 degrees and overnight lows in the single digits below.
The perfect score in figure skating, isn't it? Like all
10s,
10s,
all 10s.
All 10s.
Perfect score,
Dunk
perfect
contests,
place
all
to
10s.
live. That's right. That's a good one. All right, that'll wrap up this edition of the Fbx Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, judge orders release of Chicago cop shooting video. That's next with Lester Holt.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.